I feel like every single book that is popular these days is book one to the start of a new series. I know why publishers do it, I know why authors like to do it, but I need more standalones. I'm tired of starting so many series. Currently, I am in the middle of, as of the time you're watching this, 18 series, but there are so many more. Even in only the recent 12 to 15 months, I've started and decided to stop reading because I either didn't care, wasn't invested enough, hated the first book potentially. And honestly, this is for my own good, because if I was continuing all of these series, I would be in the middle of like almost 40 book series, and that's a problem. So is this video going to be generally more negative than my usual videos as I talk about all of the book series that I am completely DNFing? Yes. It will be, I won't lie, but it's also a good thing because I really am trying to only read the best of the best. And these books, in my opinion, this might be yours, but in my opinion, I just did not want to finish the series. For context, if you're new here, DNF means did not finish in the book world. There's a difference between hard DNF'd and soft DNF'd. Hard is like, I'm never touching this series ever again. Soft is, I probably will come back to this, but it's not right now. And most, if not all of these, are hard DNFs to me. So if any of these series I talk about today are your absolute favorite series ever, and you want to convince me in the comments below why I should keep going, why the next books are better, potentially what you think about them matches my reading taste, genuinely, I would love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to respond. Let me know. But on the whole, I am in too many series right now to be reading series that I just don't have a care about, really. So, starting off at the top of my list, I have my computer over here for context if I start looking down. But the first one is the Shatter Me series by Tahira Mafi. I read book one in this series last month, so you probably saw this in my reading wrap-up I posted last week, or my reading vlog I posted a couple weeks ago. I had never read Shatter Me before last month. I know it's been out for years. It was so popular. Even when I was in like middle school, it was super popular, but I just never read it, never got around to it. So I decided to learn what the hype was about last month, picked up book one, and I just did not get into it. Now, I mentioned in my videos that I know why people love this book. It's the nostalgia. You know, I love Percy Jackson for the exact same reason, although I think that Percy Jackson is a better story, written better, but alas, like I think that the people who love it because they read it at a time in their life when it was just peak for them, and they hold nostalgia for it, kind of like people do for Twilight, you know? But that being said, I just don't care to finish the series. And before you try to convince me to read the rest of the series, my sister was the one that read the series and wanted me to read book one with her, and she has read all of the books at this point. She binged them so quickly, and she spoiled a lot of the plot for me. So I know a lot of what happens. I know a lot of the plot twists already. I just don't care to finish it. Juliet was an annoying love interest. I didn't get the hype with Aaron Warner. I actually didn't really like any of the characters, to be honest, that I met. They didn't stick out to me. Writing style was genuinely awful. It was so bad. And so I know Tahira can write better. I've read other works by her, but this series is a no for me. By the way, I'm not going to hold up any physical copies of these books because I only have like 2 or 3 of them. All of these books I either read digitally, or if I had them physically, I have since donated or sold my copies because I don't have any care to continue the series. Why would I keep the first book, you know? So they're all out of my possession, or at least most of them are. Speaking of, let's talk about Silver Elite by Danny Francis. This is a very popular book right now. So popular. It came out in spring, and it is the start to a new series. Now, only one book is currently out, so I couldn't even continue it right now if I wanted to, but I DNF'd this book at 70%, and I am happy that I did, genuinely. I think it was one of my, either my first or second DNF of the year. Like, I don't DNF very much at all. I've read 50 books this year already. I've DNF'd like 2, but this was so bad, I just couldn't do it. One big problem for me with book series is if I don't like the main character, especially if I'm in first person POV and I don't like the main character, I'm gonna have such a hard time continuing the series. And so then my thought process is, okay, if I hate the character but I love the plot, I will still continue. But in this case, I hated the main characters, plural, and I didn't care about the plot. And if I don't care, why am I gonna continue and put myself in a position where I'm gonna have to read a book that I don't want to read? Like, I don't care. You know, it's a mood reading. Why am I gonna do this to myself? So I know a lot of people really love this series, but it was just not for me. DNF'd it, couldn't take Ren. She was so annoying to be in her head, and the whole plot was just a dystopian cover-up to mask like a bunch of smutty romance that I did not care about because the love interest was also super annoying and had no personality. So yeah, not for me. Not gonna continue the series, but if you like it, love that for you, babe. The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. This is book one in the Mead Mishaps series, and I won't lie, this is like a soft DNF series for me. In my head, sometimes when I read the first book of a series, especially interconnected standalone, like especially, I will really enjoy book one, but I just don't have any interest in continuing the other series with other characters, you know? It's like a one and done, standalone in my head kind of thing, even though it is a completed series. So I think there are at least 3 books in the Mead Mishaps series. I read book 1 in June. I enjoyed it, gave it 3 stars. It was a funny, goofy time, very laughing at itself kind of demon fantasy romance kind of thing. It was funny. I enjoyed it, but I don't have any interest in the rest of the books. Like, the other characters were great, but I have so many better things to read instead. That was like a one-off palate cleanser, enjoyed my time kind of thing. So if books 2 and 3 are like so amazing for X, Y, and Z reasons, let me know. But as of right now, I don't have any intention to finish the series, and so it's not on my series to continue list that I keep on Goodreads. Those are all series that I am actively wanting to get to. This one, it's just like, yeah, one and done. We're good leaving that one in the past kind of thing. Another popular one that came out this spring is Shield of Sparrows. I was actually so annoyed that I didn't like this one or Silver Elite, but this one was a soft DNF that I ended up just selling, so I didn't really count it on the books that I read this month or this year because I only got to like 100 pages in, so like 20% of it, I guess. And I didn't have enough to like give a full review or rate it, so it's not marked on Goodreads as read, I don't think. But I did just genuinely not get hooked at all. I didn't care. And I was actually really annoyed because I bought my copy of this book for $30 at an independent bookstore when the people at the register said it was just amazing, so good. And I just got into it and I was like, I don't care. I don't like the main character. I was bored. I don't know. I lost interest in this very quickly. And I know people really love this book, and I, again, love that for you, like really I do, but I have so many other books that I want to read. I don't want to make myself second guess my decisions and go back and reread old books that I may have already tried before. Like, if it wasn't for me, it wasn't for me. And I sold my copy anyway, so it's gone already. So I might as well put my efforts into a different book in my literally eons long TBR that I could be reading instead. This is another instance of only book 1 is out and book 2 and the rest of the series is going to come out eventually, but I don't intend to pick those up at all. So Shield of Sparrows is not for me. The Murderbot Diaries. This is another one that it was like a one and done kind of thing. This is a full, very long series. I think it's like 8 books maybe of sci-fi novellas. So book 1 is quite short. It was like 200 pages. I listened to it on an audiobook on Spotify in I think February. I didn't dislike it by any means. I think I gave it 3 stars when I read it. I have since lowered that rating to 2.5 stars. I just didn't really connect to the story at all. I liked the idea of a robot reprogramming itself to not be a murder bot, and that she likes watching TV, like soap operas and reality television. Like, that's my kind of girl, I won't lie. But maybe it was the fact that I was listening to it on audiobook and I was just like not paying much attention to it, honestly. I just don't know, but I didn't feel connected to the story. I didn't feel like I had any interest in reading book 2. I got halfway through and it was like, I'm just gonna finish this because I'm already partway through, but it was just a read for me, you know? It's a one and done kind of thing. Sci-fi is also a genre that I want to get more into because as a fantasy girl and a dystopian girl, I feel like I would really, really love dystopian sci-fi or just plain sci-fi. And I have Red Rising and potentially something by Andy Weir on my TBR that I want to get into. But this one, I just don't think I'm going to continue with, to be honest. Even though they're quick and easy, and I would recommend it if this is like in your wheelhouse, honestly. But it was just one of those books that I was like, book 1, it's done. Fab, moving on, not gonna finish the series. Also because it's so long, like I don't need to put the rest of that on my series to complete list. Like, I'm good, you know? The Bridge Kingdom series. Y'all might hate me for this one. This one's kind of controversial, I won't lie. People love this series, they really do. This is what people call bringing back yearning because of like the main guy character in this book. And honestly, I started out this book with the highest hopes. I really loved the beginning of this book, but truly it just bored me. It really bored me. It was just okay in everything that it did. The politics, the romance, the plot, the pacing, the writing. It was so mediocre that it wasn't like a bad book, that I didn't have any like serious issues with it per se, but I was just bored most of the way through. I didn't care. It was a short book with big font, and yet it took me too long to read, and I just really wanted to get it done and over with, and that is a sign that I don't need to read book 2, because why would I want to take that energy into another book of the same caliber? You know what I'm saying? This is a series of duologies, so it's 6 books in the full series. I think 5 are out, but they're like paired up in like groups of 2. And again, people love these books, and I think that if you love them, they're great because they are quick and easy and they follow characters and like separate romances, so it keeps your interest, or supposedly it does. Didn't keep mine. I think though that it's just a series for me that didn't hit, and therefore I'm not going to continue it. And I have, again, other ones I could focus my energy on instead. The Dark Verse series by Runix. This one's really interesting because I read books 1 and 2 and really, really loved them. They were so good. good. This is some of the best mafia romance I've ever read. Books 1 and 2 follows Tristan and Morana, and they are so good together, and I love them. And I actually really want to reread books 1 and 2. Like, I actually really enjoyed them. I gave them both 4 stars. But book 3 I read at the beginning of the year, and actually from what I've heard online, book 3 is a favorite out of like the general population, and I gave it 3 stars. I just didn't care that much. I feel like it wasn't written well, the pacing was weird, the romance was weird. It was just not my thing. And then I've also heard bad things about the rest of the series. So I'm like, if everyone loved the book that I didn't like and they hated the rest of them, am I gonna like the rest of them? Most likely not. So because books 1 and 2 is like a paired duology and then the rest of the series is like separate books, I could continue the other like 3 I think books that are left in the series, but I just don't think it's worth my time and energy. I got the romance that I wanted out of books 1 and 2. It was completed, it's done. I might reread those 2 because I really, really love them. I might buy those 2 because I really love them, to be honest, but I don't have any interest in the other couples, the other characters. Like, just 1 and 2 was enough for me, to be honest. Okay, the Legacy of God series. This one is tricky. I read book 1 in this series and absolutely despised it. I gave it 1 star at the beginning of the year. I made a vlog about it. I did videos, wrap-ups, things like that. I've ranted about this book on the internet so much already. Basically, I cannot stand romanticizing SA in books, and I feel like this one does that. So it was rough for me. It's hard to talk about because I'm just like, people have what they're into, and that's fine. I love a dark romance. I love a little smut. I love, you know, morally gray characters, morally black characters even. Like, characters that I read about all the time in my books, I'm like, if you were in real life doing that, you should be put in jail. But in a book, it's whatever, you know, I get it, it's fine. But when I get the feeling that a character, especially a girl, is being made to do something against her will, but then she's like, it's kind of hot though, and is like physically reacting to it, you know what I mean? It is still counted as SA in my opinion because you are not consenting to it. I feel like I'm teaching this to like kindergartners. You know what I'm trying to say here? You know what I mean? It's just hard for me to read. I can't do it. I don't like when people do that. If you like these kind of books, to each their own. You know, everyone has their own moral standards in their reading, whatever. It's just like, for me, I really can't do it. So I read book 1. I really, really hated it. I hated the main guy character too. He was not hot and sweet like everyone calls him to be. He's awful, point blank period. But the thing is, everyone says that the series, number 1, gets better, and number 2, that book 5 is the best. I think book 5 is a gay couple, and I did meet those 2 characters in book 1, so I know who it's already about. And I won't lie, it is intriguing to me to read book 5 because it is characters I already like. Well, I like Brandon, at least. And because it's it's a different vibe than the first one, I may try it, but I'm so nervous to try it because, I mean, you can have SA in an MM relationship too, like that still happens, and I don't want that to happen in my books. Like, I want to read books where everyone can say yes to what they want, you know? So it's just like, do I pick it up? Do I not? As a series as a whole, this is DNF'd for me, but one book may happen if I ever get the inkling in the future to pick it up. Really long story for that one. I shouldn't yap so much about it, but it's just a hard one for me. I just don't know, you know? On a lighter note though, the Crimson Moth duet. This one's controversial. I know it is, and that's okay, to be honest. I have recently realized in my reading over the past year that YA is difficult for me because I want more depth in my books. I want more grit in my books, not even like more violence or more smut or things like that. And also, I'm not saying that all YA books are bad and they're not deep and they're not compelling. Hunger Games, fantabulous. Icarus, fantabulous. Infernal Devices, literally so good. Like, I have YA books that I adore, and of course YA books that I read when I was younger that I still have nostalgia for, but I've read a lot of new YA books recently, like Lore, like Shatter Me, Once Upon a Broken Heart, and in this case, Crimson Moth, or Heartless Hunter, whichever title you call it. That was good, but I don't feel super connected to it after finishing the book. It may be because I'm older than the characters and they seem immature to me. It may be because the writing is usually a little more simplified. I'm making big generalizations here, and I know that, but as a whole, I've had a lot of trouble with YA recently. I still have YA books on my TBR that I want to read, don't get me wrong, but it's just become more difficult. And for me, with Heartless Hunter, I read book 1. I actually gave it 4 stars, to be honest. In hindsight, I might want to drop it down to a 3.5, but I won't, because at the time I really enjoyed the book. I thought it was good, you know, nothing was wrong with it per se, but I had no interest in continuing the series. I didn't want to read the duology. My sister loves it. She read book 1 and 2. She has both copies. If I wanted to read it, I could borrow her copy. She's like literally right next door to me. Like, I could literally just go over and steal her book if I wanted to read it, but I just don't want to read it. I have no interest in it, you know? Why would I force myself to do it? I am a mood reader. I'm not going to do that. So Heartless Hunter, just not it for me. Oh, and we're back to some ranting because I'm gonna talk about Haunting Adeline. I'll make it short though. I'll make it shorter than God of Malice because it's easier to talk about. This book I read last fall, 1 star, horrid, terrible. Once again, romanticizing SA. And once again, the characters were terrible. Like, very similar to God of Malice. We have a main guy character who's always romanticized as so hot and sexy, who is really just freaky. He's horny and he's possessive in a bad way. And I was just like, you guys like this guy? You're into it? Okay, if you're into it, you're into it. But like, no one can be into SA, in my opinion. If I met someone like that, I would want them in jail, not in my bed. And then also Adeline. It's Haunting Adeline, duh. Anyway, Adeline is an idiot. She's dumb. If someone was stalking me, her actions, her thought process is not what I would do at all. And she's also horny. And that's what this book is about, okay? A dumb, horny bitch and a dumb, horny terrorizer. I know that book 2 gets darker. I think there's some like saving damsel in distress kind of energy. Not what I want to read about. I'm okay without it. I can live my life perfectly fine without ever touching book 2 in my life. And honestly, I wish I could wipe the memory of book 1 from my life as well, to be honest. So yeah, not gonna happen. Unless you pay me $1 million, I am not picking up book 2. Hopefully the rest of these on the list are not as anger-inducing for me, but Rebel Blue Ranch is next for me. I read books 1 and 2 in this series. Now this one is kind of similar to the, Mead Mishaps series, Got Drunk and Save the Demon book. Like, if I want to continue this series, I'm not going to stop myself from doing it. So I actually have book 3 as a free audiobook on my Libro FM account. Heard good things about books 3 and 4, but I just like read books 1 and 2, and then I was like, you know what? If I want to read cowboy romance, I will go back to the queen, who is Elsie Silver. You cannot beat Elsie Silver, okay? She is top tier cowboy romance for me. And I just think that she does it better than Lila Sage does. I do. I'm sorry, Lila. Okay, nothing wrong with it. They are just too short, not deep enough for me. Didn't connect to the characters as much. Kind of cringy. I feel like it's truly a ripoff of Chestnut Springs. Maybe that's like mean to say, but it's just like the character prototypes. Is that the right word? The character types, whatever. For example, the dad, single dad of a bunch of adults, lives on a ranch, is a very nurturing, sarcastic, gives advice kind of character. Copy paste, both books. Family of brothers who work on the ranch, copy paste. The first one's like enemies to lovers. There's one with the single dad. There's like a second chance with the best friend. Like it's the same books, copy paste in both series, but I just preferred Elsie's version better. So I'm gonna go with Elsie instead. Sorry, Lila Sage. Again, I hope you do so well in life. I wish you nothing but the best. I might read book 3, but I just will probably read Elsie first. The Kindred's Curse Saga by Penn Cole. I'm actually mad about this one. I'm annoyed because I really, really wanted to love this series. I've heard so many good things about this series. And I know that this is slow burn, like peak slow burn. And I also love supporting indie published authors, but I just picked up book 1, read book 1, and I was like, DM, the main girl character, is so annoying. It brings me back to Ren Darlington from Silver Elite. I was like, I don't care about her. She is an annoying perspective to be in her head for the entire book. I wouldn't say she's dumb or slow. She's just doesn't know what's going on in an annoying way. Like, for example, I read Servant of Earth, which I love that book, and Kenna doesn't know what's going on, but she is finding out the answers, and she is going to get her knowledge and she's going to figure it out. You know, she is going to get it done. When I read Spark at the Everflame, I was like, DM babe, if you just did this thing, you would find the answers. If you just opened your eyes to this issue, you would figure out what's going on. And she is just oblivious and annoying, and I don't like her. Maybe she gets better. And honestly, if you think that she does, let me know in the comments below. I might give this one a second chance, maybe. But I did sell book 1, so I don't have it anymore. And I don't really intend to continue it at this moment, because for the millionth time, I have so many other series I could be starting instead, continuing or reading. This one, I just don't care. I just don't care. Butcher and Blackbird is the first book in the Ruinous Love trilogy. And this trilogy went very, very viral because book 1, everyone adores. And then they kind of don't like books 2 and 3. I think book 2 is just everyone's least favorite. And then book 3 is like almost at the level of book 1. But everyone says that the series peaked in book 1 and maybe should have been left a standalone. Now, I actually have book 1. I read it. I gave it 3 stars, 3.5, 3 stars. I think it was 3 stars. I didn't even get grossed out at this book. I think it was kind of funny. I think it was rom-com serial killers, which is a very niche genre that has blown up recently. The gory parts of this book were creative, if nothing else. There is cannibalism in this book. book, accidental and not so accidental in this book, which is kind of funny. The trigger warning list is actually so comical. But my issue with this book was the romance, which is the core part of the book. I just didn't get it. Like, I was like, okay, you both have the same interests, aka offing people, but it was so tell not show. I didn't feel the chemistry or the connection between the two of them. They seemed like really good friends to me, but I just didn't get the romance or the spiciness or the jump from enemies to lovers. So they weren't even enemies, but just the jump to loving each other. It was just so fast, so rushed, so tell not show. I just didn't get it. And so when I heard that the rest of the series supposedly gets worse, I was like, well, I didn't love book one. So kind of similar to, what series was it? Oh, the Dark First series. Kind of similar to that, where it's like, if I read the best one and I didn't love it, then why would I continue the rest of the books? You know, I'm not going to do that. So yeah, Ruinous Love, not for me. I do still have book one though. This is one that I actually didn't sell, surprisingly, so I actually could reread it if I wanted to. All right, a couple more. Next is Paladin's Grace, which is the first book in the Saint of Steel series by T. Kingfisher. This is the first book that I read by her, and I think the only one I've read by T. Kingfisher. I know she has such an extensive backlog. Very similar to Murderbot, book one and done for me. You know, like, I did enjoy Paladin's Grace well enough. It was 3 stars, it was whatever. It was very sweet, wholesome, cozy, mystery, fantasy kind of vibe. Not my usual cup of tea, but it was a nice refresh as an audiobook when I was driving for a couple hours. But I just don't care about the rest of the series, you know? I don't really think I need to finish them. I think that it was a nice book, glad I read it. Don't regret it at all, but I just don't have any interest in the rest of the series. And that's just long and short of it. Like, it's a good book. If you're into this stuff, I'd recommend it to you. But I don't care about the rest of the characters and have to put this on my series to continue list and then stress myself out over finishing it for the next however many years it will take me to finish the rest of the 4 books. Like, it's just not worth it to me. It was a one and done, a pleasant one and done, but a one and done. The Perfectly Imperfect series by Neva Altaj. I may be butchering that name, I'm sorry. I actually read book 2 in this series. I heard it was actually recommended to me by a booktuber and she loved the entire series. This is similar to Murderbot. It's like a series of novellas. They're all like 200-ish pages, but these are all dark mafia romance. I think that there's literally at least 9 books in this series. It's so long. I read book 2 because I heard it was like scarred monster guy who doesn't really speak and he has a daughter and is in an arranged marriage. Honestly, premise 10 out of 10. Hasn't been done before a million other times, but it's always going to be good, you know? But I ended up giving this book 2 stars, I think. I was so annoyed with it because I really wanted to love it, but for some reason, the relationship between the guy and the girl it did not work for me. I think it was either he was too possessive or she was just such a wimp that I just couldn't get behind her. One of the two. It was very predictable, very boring, very spicy. It's just not worth my time. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I have other things to focus on. So if you want good mafia romance, I am currently starting a new series. I hope that it's good. I recommend Dark Verse. I'll think of another one to put. It's the Irish one. What's it called? Is it Reaper? I think it's Reaper. The line between good mafia romance and bad is very, very thin. So things can cross over that line very swiftly, and this book/series did quite quickly. I'm on a mission to find some new to me good mafia romance, and I'll let you know when I do. And the last book on this list, I think I went back to like spring of 2024. So it's been like a 15-ish months, I think, since I read this one. So there are definitely going to be more series that I've DNF'd in the past, like before that time period, but I thought I would just stick in the recent months. Anyway, this is the Ever Seas series, aka the first book was Ever King. I read this book when it was indie published. I literally saw it at the bookstore last week, so I know it's been now trad published. It's like a new, fresher cover. This was a series or a book that was pirates, and I was really in the mood for pirates, so I wanted to pick it up at the time. A very impulse pickup that was enjoyable, but I'm not going to read book 2. So I actually really loved it at the beginning. It was enemies to lovers, pirates, all the vibes I wanted, but then getting towards the end of the series, it was too spicy, too repetitive, too predictable. It lost me in the last like 60 to 90%, to be honest. So I finished the book with a 3-star rating because I was just disappointed at the ending, or at least the second half of the book, and I have no interest in continuing. I think that the love interests are literally already together, so book 2 is just going to be plot. It's not going to be like any romance development, you know, it's just like the plot of the kingdom. I could probably tell you right now what happens. I'm not going to, but I could probably tell you what's going to happen. So if it's that guessable, I'm not going to waste my time, you know? So simple as that. This is a DNF for me, and that's it. So that's my full list. I think there were like 16 books on this list. I could be mistaken, but again, there are plenty more that I have in previous years DNF'd as well. As always, subscribe. I post new book videos every single Thursday. And if this video was a little bit too negative for you and you want to know about the series I'm currently in the middle of, next week I'm going to post a new reading vlog where I'm continuing/finishing series I'm currently in the middle of, and I'm filming it right now, and I'm already having such good books. The books are so good. So if you want to watch that reading vlog, subscribe so you don't miss it. In the meantime, I'll put my most recent video on the screen here for you to go check out, and I will see you next Thursday for my reading vlog. Goodbye.